Hey everybody, welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Kristina, Kristina. Please hit the like and subscribe. Let me know I'm doing a good job. Today I'm indulging myself and I'm reading some of my favorite chapters in Laurell K. Hamilton's Incubus Dreams. It's the biggest book in the series. It's got the most stuff in it. It's a very pivotal book in the series. There's a lot that goes on. And after this book, the series changes, completely changes. So I hope you'll indulge me and follow me through my path today, my journey. What does he mean he's supposed to be on stage? Claire asked. He's a stripper at Guilty Pleasures, I said. She made a little O with her mouth. I wasn't sure why, unless her world was so protected that she just being in the car with a stripper was a big deal. For sanity's sake, I hoped her world was bigger than that. But I don't understand why he can't. She made a waffling motion with her hands. Perform tonight. Richard saved me the lecture. Remember that once in animal form, you have to stay that way for 6 to 8 hours. I thought that was just because I was new. Richard shook his head, winced as if it hurt, and said, now, most shifters spend their lives tied to a cycle of 6 to 8 hours in animal form, then 2 to 4 of being passed out once they shift back to human form. Sit down, Dr. Lillian said, and her voice indicated she expected to be obeyed. But you don't have to stay in animal form for 8 hours, and you don't pass out when you shift back. He's your Ulfric, Fredo said. No one's king is that weak. His voice was deeper than his chest was wide. Claire gave him quick eye flicks as if he made her nervous. Maybe it was the knives. Do you pass out when you come back into human form? She said in a voice that matched nervous eyes. No, he said. I do, Nathaniel said. He smiled at her, but don't ask the rest of them. They'll all make you feel bad because they don't pass out either. How long have you been? Her voice trailed off. A were-leopard, he finished for her. She nodded. 3 years, he said. I did quick math in my head. That means that Gabriel brought you over when you were 17. He nodded, yes. That's illegal, I said. It's illegal in most states to contaminate anyone willingly with a potential fatal disease regardless of age, Richard said. I shook my head. I guess I'm starting to treat lycanthropy the way the law treats vampirism. If you're 18, you can choose. The law doesn't treat it the same, he said. I knew that, but I spent so much time among the shifters that I sort of forgot. Careless of me, I guess I forgot. And you, a federal marshal, he said. But the biting comment lacked snap because he hunched with pain at the same time. He won't say it, so I will. I'm new that if one of my pack switches form, sometimes it brings out the change too. I'm not trustworthy when I first turn. She looked down, not meeting anyone's eyes. Richard took her hand. It's all right, Claire. Everyone has problems at first. Everyone nodded. Some said yes. That seemed to cheer her a little. She looked younger than I thought at first. Maybe 24, 25, maybe younger. If she hadn't been Richard's new girlfriend, I would have asked. But it seemed like crying and none of my business. Even if you shifted home, I've never seen you heal this much damage in 48 hours, Dr. Lillian said. So, he said, sounding defensive, had I missed something? If you go to school on Monday with your arm being useless and then by Friday it's usable, don't you think some of your fellow teachers might wonder about your remarkable recovery? I'll make up a less traumatic injury, something that could heal that fast. She shook her head. If they find out you're a werewolf, they won't let you teach children. I know that, he said, voice fierce and the first thread of power trickling through the air. Claire breathed out in a quiver. She looked dizzy. Michael put a chair under her and helped Richard ease her into it. How long has she been a werewolf? I asked. 3 months, he said. I looked at him and he wouldn't meet my eyes. 3 months and you took her outside a safe house less than a week before the full moon? Doesn't your house qualify as a safe house? You can come here to shift, but I don't have a reinforced room. Most true safe houses had a room with a steel door and reinforced concrete walls. Most people put the rooms down in the basements, just those who asked for it was storage. We were supposed to have a picnic today, Claire said. I turned around so Richard wouldn't see my face. You did not take a brand new shifter out for a picnic if she was having this kind of trouble. She was fine this morning, he said. I turned around when I was sure my face would be blank enough. She's responding to your anchor and your beast, Micah said. I know that, Richard said, a hint of a growl in his voice. She swayed in her chair. Richard, you have better control than this. He nodded. Lillian said if there was a way to heal your arm before Monday, your secret would be safe. No. He took me a moment to get the hint. If you're suggesting what I think you're suggesting, not only no, but hell no. Um, they want her to use the ardor to heal him. So we have this fight with Richard. It goes on. But where is I thought you were screwing them both, Richard said. Such a nice turn of phrase, I said, and the tension just seeped right back in. You won't let me say sleep. I'm trying to avoid saying fuck. How about sex or intercourse? Those are nice technical terms. All right. I thought you were having intercourse with both of them. Now you know different, I said. Yes, he said, and his voice was softer, less angry. I felt like I was missing something here. What difference does it make whether I was having sex with one or both? He looked down then and wouldn't meet my eyes. Could everybody leave us alone for a few minutes, please? Claire got up a little uncertainly. Dr. Lillian got up and Freda moved to follow it. Nathaniel had rolled out the dough that he was shaping the individual biscuits. The oven dinged, indicating it was preheated. He looked a question at me. I wrapped my arms around Micah, pulling him around me like a coat. You can't kick Nathaniel out of his own kitchen, Richard. I don't want Micah to go either. It's not his kitchen, Richard said. He was angry again. Yes, I said, it is. Nathaniel turned back to his baking with a smile on his lips. He'd already greased up the pan, so he began to arrange the thick, doughy circles on them, ignoring us again. They live with me, Richard. He shook his head and grimaced and made a low sound, not a growl, just frustration. Micah is your Nimrod. You had the same reaction to each other that Marcus and Raina had, instantaneous melding. But Marcus didn't move into Raina's house. They couldn't help being attracted to each other, but Raina saw other people. They weren't a couple, not in that way. Raina couldn't have known what monogamy was if it hit her on the ass, I said. Dr. Lillian and Freda were making for the door. Lillian grabbed Claire's arm as she went past and took her with them. Richard didn't seem to notice. Don't you dare talk about a monogamy to me, Richard said. You may have gotten a peek inside my head, Richard, but I saw into yours too. I'm not having sex with everyone you thought, but you're having sex with almost everyone that will have you. I'm looking for a new Lupa, he said. Bullshit, I said. You broke up with me before I was with Micah the first time, I said. He shook his head and screamed, partly pain, partly anger. Once I calmed down, I could have forgiven you about Micah. I'd seen it with Raina and Marcus, but you moved him in here. That I would have let go or tried to, but I thought you were screwing Nathaniel. I thought you were fucking him before you broke up with me. One, you broke up with me. I needed to be held when I was this angry. Let me go, Micah. Let me go. I'm not trying to do anything stupid. He sighed, but he let his arms fall to his sides. I walked out just far enough not to be pressed to his body. Like I said, you broke up with me, Richard, not the other way around. You broke up with me because you, quote, didn't want to love anyone who was more comfortable with the monsters than you were. He actually looked embarrassed. That was really unfair of me, and I'm sorry. And the rest of the chapter goes on to argue. It's just Richard and his angst, and you just gotta let it go. Please hit the like and subscribe. Let me know I'm doing a good job. And I hope you're enjoying my day of reading chapters of my favorite I need a Blake book. Incubus Dreams. Thank you.